Mary's marriage to Ed came with a price, his mother Scarlet, who never hid her disdain. From wedding day insults to constant criticism, Scarlet seemed set on making Mary's life difficult. Tensions grew with each visit, until something even more shocking unfolded. Mary and her husband Ed drove in silence toward his mother Scarlet's house. Though they hadn't arrived yet, Mary was already looking forward to the ride back. Scarlet, after all, simply despised her Dot. At their wedding, Scarlet had even shown up wearing a veil. Mary had been grateful she hadn't arrived in a full wedding dress. Scarlet was one of those mothers who couldn't let go of her little boy. No matter how grown-up he was. As they pulled into the driveway, Mary reluctantly stepped out, trailing behind Ed. She took a deep breath, steeling herself for whatever latest insult Scarlet had in store. Forcing a smile, she braced herself, hoping her expression would carry her through this visit. Scarlet opened the door with a wide grin and immediately wrapped her arms around Ed. Double quotes. "Oh, my baby, you're finally here. I've missed you more than you know," she exclaimed, holding him close. "Oh, my baby, you're finally here. I've missed you more than you know," she exclaimed, holding him close. Dinner felt endless as Scarlet launched into her usual list of complaints. Mary doesn't know how to cook. She doesn't work somewhere respectable. She doesn't even know how to dress herself properly, Scarlet declared, taking quick glances at Ed for support. Mary gripped her fork tightly, biting her tongue. She knew any response would just add fuel to Scarlet's fire. But then Scarlet said something that made Mary's patience snap, words sharper than anything before. Scarlet looked across the table, her eyes fixed on Mary. "Well," she said, "slowly I think it's high time you gave me a grandchild. Or maybe," she added with a smirk, "Mary has some issues?" Mary's heart sank. They had been trying for a baby for 6 months with no success, and Scarlet's words stung like salt in a wound. "How dare you?" Mary burst out. "Stop meddling in our lives. Maybe it's your son who has the problem." Scarlet leaned back, eyes narrowing. "That's absurd. My son is perfectly healthy, thank you very much. But you, Mary? Who knows what you were up to before meeting Eddie?" Mary's face flushed with anger. "You're a damn witch," she shouted, her voice trembling. She turned to Ed, who hadn't said a word. "Are you just going to sit there and let her say this?" Scarlet shot her son a pointed look. "Yes, Eddie, tell your crazy wife to show some respect," she said, her tone mocking. Ed shrugged, still scrolling through his phone. "Work it out yourselves." Scarlet leaned toward Mary, her voice low. "My neighbor mentioned herbal teas. She swears they help people like you." Mary opened her mouth to retort, but felt a sudden wave of nausea. She clenched her stomach, forcing the words out. "Why don't you drink your own tea?" Unable to hold it back, Mary bolted to the bathroom. When she returned, still pale, she looked at Ed. "I want to go home." "Okay," he said, barely glancing up. Scarlet tilted her head, a fake look of concern crossing her face. "What's wrong? Are you feeling sick?" Mary's eyes narrowed. "You probably poisoned me," she muttered, too tired to argue further. On the way home, Mary's mind raced. She had to know for sure. "Ad, can you stop at the pharmacy?" she asked quietly. He sighed but pulled into the parking lot. She hurried inside, grabbed a pregnancy test, and paid quickly. Back at home, she went straight to the bathroom. She held her breath, waiting. Then the results appeared, 2 lines. She gasped, feeling a rush of excitement and relief. She rushed to show Ed, her face glowing. "Ed, we're going to have a baby." Glanced at the test, his expression unreadable. "Oh, that's good," he mumbled, barely meeting her eyes. Mary's heart sank a little. She was overjoyed, but Ed's reaction felt like a shadow over her happiness. A few weeks had passed since Mary found out she was pregnant, and she was finally starting to adjust to the idea of becoming a mother. It was their first doctor's appointment, and she was sitting on the bed, waiting for Ed to finish his shower so they could leave together. She hoped he'd show some excitement, but he seemed distant lately, preoccupied and withdrawn as she waited. Ed's phone buzzed beside her, lighting up with a message. Usually she respected his privacy, but the way he'd been acting made her hesitate. Without fully realizing it, she reached for his phone. She tried to unlock it and was surprised to find a passcode. She couldn't remember him ever using one before. On a whim, she tried his birth date. The screen unlocked immediately. The message stared back at her, a picture of a half-dressed woman, smiling in a way that made her stomach twist. Below the picture, a message read, "Can't wait to see you, baby." Her hands trembled as she scrolled through the conversation, each word feeling like a fresh betrayal. Ed had told this woman he was wealthy, a construction company owner a far cry from his real job. Heart-pounding, she took screenshots, saving them on her phone as evidence of his lies and deceit. When Ed came out of the bathroom, she was waiting, holding his phone. Her face was pale, her eyes filled with hurt and anger. "What is this?" she shouted, thrusting the phone toward him. His expression turned hard and he grabbed the phone from her hand. "None of your business," he snapped. Mary's voice rose, filled with pain. "None of my business? You're cheating on me." "And I'm pregnant, Ed, your pregnant wife." His eyes narrowed. "Maybe you're the one cheating on me," he shot back, a sneer forming on his face. "How do I even know this baby's mine?" Mary felt her whole world spin. "Are you serious? We've been trying for 6 months. Now you're saying this?" Her voice broke. Ed crossed his arms. 6 months, no luck, and now, all of a sudden, it just happens? Convenient. You've been seeing this woman for more than 6 months. Ed, I saw everything. You've lied to her, too. Told her you're rich, that you own a company. Mary's voice trembled. Ed shrugged, coldly unmoved. Doesn't matter. I'm filing for divorce. This marriage is over. You really think that woman will stick around when she learns the truth about you? Mary shot back. Trust me, she won't find out. And when this is over, I'll take this house and everything else you have, plus my mom's money. He smirked. Mary's voice rose in protest. This house was bought by my father. Yeah? It's in both our names, Ed replied with a smug smile. Mary's voice softened as she asked, What about the baby? Ed just shrugged. You can't prove it's mine until it's born. By then, it'll be too late. And with that, he threw her out, leaving her in tears. Desperate and hurt, Mary made a choice to go to Scarlett and show her everything. Scarlett had to know the truth about her son. She sat across from Scarlett, her heart pounding as she told her everything Ed's. Lies, his cheating, his threats to take the house. She held her breath, waiting for Scarlett to dismiss her. But to her surprise, she listened, her face growing pale. Scarlett looked down, tears welling in her eyes. "He's been taking money from me too," she said softly. "Every penny his. Father left me everything I've saved. He said he needed it for doctor visits because you couldn't get pregnant." Mary shook her head, feeling both anger and sadness. "He never even went to a doctor. Every time I brought it up, he refused." "I checked our account, Scarlett. He's been taking out huge amounts." Scarlett clenched her fists. "I can't believe my son would do this," she said, her voice shaking. "He lied to both of us." Mary looked at Scarlett, surprised. "You've never been on my side before. What changed?" Scarlett sighed. "I was a mother trying to protect her son. But now I see I need to protect others from him. His father was the same a cheater. I endured it, hoping Ed would be better. But he isn't, and I don't want anyone else to suffer like I did." Mary looked at Scarlett, surprised. "You've never been on my side before. What changed?" Scarlett sighed. "I was a mother trying to protect her son. But now I see I need to protect others from him. His father was the same a cheater. I endured it, hoping Ed would be better. But he isn't, and I don't want anyone else to suffer like I did." Mary and Scarlett moved forward with their plan. Mary confronted Ed directly, and she showed him the screenshots of his messages. "I have all your messages," she said, her voice steady as she held up her phone. "And I've already shown them to Scarlett. So you have no more room to manipulate anyone." Ed looked shaken, but Mary continued, not backing down. "Here's the deal," she told him firmly. "Give up your claim to the house, sign these divorce papers, and agree to pay child support. Do this, and I'll stay quiet. Otherwise, I'll make sure your lover knows the truth." Backed into a corner, Ed reluctantly agreed and signed the papers without a word. He had no idea that Scarlett had the final piece of the plan. Scarlett went to Ed's lover herself, revealing everything, his lies, his fake claims of wealth, and his deception. She left nothing hidden, ensuring her son's lies would come crashing down. When Ed found out, Scarlett was sitting with Mary, enjoying tea at her house. Suddenly, loud banging echoed from the front door, followed by Ed's furious shouting. "You promised you wouldn't tell if I did everything you asked," he yelled through the door, his voice sharp with anger. Mary looked at the door calmly and replied, "I didn't tell her anything, Ed." Scarlett raised her voice so Ed could hear. "I did," she called out firmly. "I taught you that lying is wrong, but you clearly didn't learn. You're both insane," shouted, his voice shaking with rage. "You'll regret this. I'll make you pay." Just then, the police arrived, alerted by a neighbor's call. They restrained Ed, leading him away as he continued yelling threats, while Mary and Scarlett stayed inside, unshaken while finishing their tea. Tell us what you think about this story and share it with your friends. It might inspire them and brighten their day. If you enjoyed this story, read this one. 16-year-old Eric slips away from his foster family on a camping trip, desperate to find his real mother and the answers he's always craved. But as he faces hard truths about the past and what family truly means, Eric's journey takes a turn he never saw coming.